Today, we'll talk about Nintendo. Nintendo is known for innovation and good games. I can list basically all of Nintendo's flagship franchises. We all know at the point Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Animal Crossing, and of course and Smash Bros. And Splatoon. And of course Nintendo has some more underrated franchises like Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, and Pikmin. Pikmin being one of the most underrated Nintendo franchises of all time. But today we'll talk about Nintendo franchises that Nintendo has killed themselves. We all know companies are known for killing our franchises. EA is the biggest one of them. But Nintendo has actually killed off some of the more promising franchises for basically no reason, selling them to basically be right there. And games that have received installments over the past in 2020, such as Pikmin, including with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and Paper Mario with Paper Mario The Origami King, which Mystery Dungeons, what I said was a dead franchise. Well, I would say it says dead franchise 2 years ago, but got a remake of the first games, would not be on this list. So, therefore, we'll be going over the dead Nintendo franchises that had so much potential. The first franchise on the list is Chibi Robo. Chibi Robo was a fun, cute, quirky game for the GameCube. The game was very cool. It was pretty fun, pretty unique. It was a franchise that showed a lot of promise. But then the sequels were like, oh, nope. People love the open world, or open house of Chibi Robo. Well, let's make it where you protect a park. And then the newest one, Ziprass. Oh yes, no one loves Ziprass. That game was horrible. Park Control was horrible. What happened? Well, it's because Nintendo said, okay, this game didn't sell too much, so we gotta just put it back to the back burner of franchises that nobody cares about. And that's what happened to Chibi Robo. And it's a franchise that will probably never see a new game ever again. Hopefully Nintendo one day reimagines Chibi Robo like the original GameCube game and not like Park Patrol or Ziprass or CP Robo AR or something garbage like that. We want an actual true sequel to CP Robo, an actual true sequel to the game, which we never got because we just got garbage after that. So Nintendo killed off this franchise for basically, because it didn't sell well. So next franchise is... This is not necessarily a franchise that Nintendo killed, but its own fan base killed, and that is Star Fox. Star Fox has been one of Nintendo's biggest franchises. Back in the N64 days, Star Fox 64 was a very big game. It was a very big and great rail shooter. But as you all know, Nintendo loves to innovate, because Nintendo doesn't, except for Game Freak, Nintendo doesn't really stick to formulas. And that really pissed off a majority of the Star Fox fan base, who just wanted every game to be Star Fox 64. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Star Fox Assault, well, I have not played, but I heard it was pretty good outside of the Star Fox 64 release, saying it's one of the worst games ever made. Same thing with Star Fox Adventures. I didn't like Star Fox Adventures, but I don't like it for my own personal reasons. But the Star Fox 64 readers say it was one of the worst games ever made as well. That's because the Star Fox 64 readers... Okay, Star Fox Command, we all agree that game's garbage. I think everybody can agree that game horrible, okay? But Nintendo really stopped putting effort into the franchise because of the Star Fox 64 readers. Look at Star Fox Zero. Practically the same thing as Star Fox 64. And it also has horrible controls. That's another thing Nintendo loves to do. They love to put big games and just force motion controls down your throat. It's like, really, Nintendo? Does anyone really want motion controls in their games? No. No one wants that stuff. Hopefully Nintendo brings back Star Fox and at least try to and make a game like Assault Worlds. Basically, we have worlds like that, because Star Fox Assault was a pretty unique game, and at least they released Star Fox 2 on the SNES Classic. We have another franchise that Nintendo has killed because its own fan base is just a bunch of idiots and a bunch of elitists. So, number 3. Number 3 is FZero. FZero is a racing game that used to be released on a lot of Nintendo consoles. And despite Captain Falcon becoming a fan favorite character, especially among the Smash community, Nintendo doesn't care about FZero. Because we all know why Nintendo won't ever make another FZero game again. Mario Kart makes enough money from the racing game genre than FZero ever will. And again, Nintendo's like, Mario Kart's better, no more FZero. It's just sad to say that Nintendo basically killed off this franchise since FZero GX. I think an FZero game would sell massively It would, but Nintendo isn't willing to give us a new F-Zero game. There have been weeks after weeks saying recently, there's like a Star Fox, there's going to be a new Star Fox game, but there's going to be a golf or racing game. But that's exactly what we need, is an F-Zero game, okay? We need a new F-Zero game, but Nintendo's like, what's F-Zero? Oh yeah, the game that Captain Falcon's from. Nintendo killed off that franchise for good, and no one ever remembers it again. Hopefully that's what Nintendo thinks. But we will always remember F-Zero as, well, I never got to even play an F-Zero game. Why? Because Nintendo refuses to make a new one. Maybe I'll give the franchise a chance if Nintendo actually makes a game for it. You can't really make a game for a franchise and not make it, okay? And just forget it even exists. So, the closest thing we get to a new F-Zero game is Fast Racing Neo, which is a F-Zero clone, or, yep, Mario Kart 8. Yep, those are the closest things you have to a new F-Zero game on Nintendo Switch. At least have fun with F-Zero Fast Racing Neo. Maybe Nintendo should hire those developers of those games to make a new F-Zero game. I bet they'll be glad to make that game. But I digress. Nintendo will never make another F-Zero game again, because Nintendo doesn't care about F-Zero. They only care about Mario. And, okay, I'm going too far. Number 4. Number 4 is the Mario and Luigi franchise. But why are you talking about the Mario and Luigi franchise? They literally got a game in 2019 for the 3DS. Oh, wait, that's a remake. But I think Mario and Luigi, they have not received a single game for the Switch that has been relegated to the DS handheld systems. And considering the fact that they shut down the developers that make these games, I don't expect a new Mario and Luigi game anytime soon. And that's pretty much the same. Again, Mario and Luigi also gained the same problem with Paper Mario at the same time. Nintendo's like, okay, we're going to make a new Mario and Luigi game, but it's gonna be like the new Paper Mario game. It's gonna suck. Okay, I'm talking about Ticket Style and Color Splash. It's gonna be like those two games. People love those games. People love the fact they replace all the NPCs with toads. Okay, no one loved that. Okay, nobody loved that. Okay, come on, Nintendo. If you're gonna make a new Mario and Luigi game, put effort into that. Not make it garbage. Okay. Nobody wants to chase around toads in the lands, okay? Or look for toads in the deepest reaches of hell to find them, okay, Nintendo? Please, for the love of God, make a Mario Luigi game that actually is good. That isn't Paper Jam, isn't a remake. Yeah. Number 5. The last franchise in this list is Wario Land. So there's probably be a new Wario game coming soon. Those games make bank. I'm surprised they haven't even made a Wario mobile game, because that would be a success on the mobile gaming market. But Wario Land, Nintendo has not made a game since the Wii days. Why, Nintendo? Wario Land was so fun. Wario World was so fun. But Nintendo's like, oh, nope. We're not gonna make a new Wario Land. And there's also Virtual Boy Wario Land, which was rumored to be remade. But this is like, nope, we're canceling it because only Wario World. That's all you get. You don't get Wario Land. No, never. You can never get Wario Land ever again. And Mario Land doesn't make a new Mario Land, okay? It doesn't have to always be Mario platformer, okay? We can have a Luigi platformer, Waluigi platformer. It could be Mario Land and Waluigi. You can play as both Wario and Waluigi. Just come on, make a new Mario Land game. Maybe just make the two playable characters be Wario and Waluigi, and there's some other new characters or original characters from that series. But again, this is Nintendo. Again, they're not gonna make a new Wario Land series because they'll say, "Oh, Wario's too fat and ugly to be in a platformer." That's probably gonna be the worst excuse. Again, they made lame excuses like explain the lack of NPCs in Paper Mario Sticker Style, an absolute lame excuse. But they'll probably make another Wario Well game because people love that. But yep, Wario Land will probably be another franchise that Nintendo will forget about for a long time. And that's basically it. About 5 franchises that Nintendo has killed. Again, Mario and Luigi, that's because the developers have shut down. Nintendo shut down the developers of those games. So, flip those guys who make those games. And that's basically it. Goodbye.